After 7 years and 3 games, it is finally happening. Final Fantasy VII Revelation. The end of the Remake Trilogy. And buried inside this reveal is the question that has haunted gamers for almost 30 years. The one Square Enix still refuses to answer. Does Aerith finally live, or does she die? We've got fan favorites becoming playable, a whole open world, a missing main character, and a director comment that set the internet on fire. So let's break down absolutely everything. Let's start with the big picture. At Summer Game Fest 2026, Square Enix closed the entire show with it. Final Fantasy VII Revelation, the third and final chapter of the Remake saga. It started with Remake in 2020, continued with Rebirth in 2024, and now it ends. The director, Naoki Hamaguchi, even framed the trilogy as 3 words. Remake was reunion. Rebirth was bonds. And this one, Revelation, is resolve. It launches in spring of 2027, lining up perfectly with the 30th anniversary of the original game. But here's the part of the announcement that made the loudest noise. For the first time in this trilogy, it is launching on everything. Day 1. PlayStation 5, Xbox, PC, and yes, Nintendo Switch 2. The first 2 games were PlayStation exclusives for a while, so this is huge. In fact, it's the first main, numbered Final Fantasy on a Nintendo system since Final Fantasy VI, back in 1994. The fans went wild. And the top comment on the trailer summed up the whole mood. New goal: stay alive until 2027. Now, for the longtime fans, this next part is the dream. 2 characters everyone has been begging to play as for literal decades are finally fully playable party members. First, Vincent Valentine, the brooding caped gunslinger. And he is not just shooting things. He can transform into the monstrous Galian beast as a controllable form in combat. Matt Mercer returns to voice him, and Vincent's new line absolutely broke the internet. He says, "I won't return to my coffin until we've put Sephiroth in his." Chills. And then there's Cid Highwind, the chain-smoking pilot, now a spear-wielding dragoon who leaps into the air and pilots the legendary airship. People have waited since the 90s to actually control these 2, and it's finally here. And speaking of that airship, this is where the game opens way up. The Highwind is fully controllable, and it turns the whole game into one massive, seamless open world. No loading screens, no gates. Reportedly the biggest and most vertical map of the entire trilogy. And they added a series first. You can jump out of the Highwind and skydive, parachuting down and landing anywhere you want on the map. A lot of outlets compared it to the skydiving in Fortnite. It also means the locations that got skipped in Rebirth are finally back. Wutai, Rocket Town, Mideel, the Great Glacier. On top of that, the weapons, those colossal super bosses, return as full, real boss fights, with the ruby weapon tied right into the world map. Oh, and there's a brand new job system called Fits. Basically, special outfits let your characters use classic Final Fantasy job classes. You can literally dress Cloud up as a black mage and have him sling spells. It's a love letter to old-school Final Fantasy. But now we have to talk about the elephant in the room. Did you notice who was missing? Cloud is strangely absent from a bunch of the party shots, which fans think is a clever nod to the original game's second disc, where Cloud gets sidelined for a while. But that's not the big absence. The big one is Aerith. The trailer talks about Meteor, about Sephiroth, about saving the planet. But it never once mentions Aerith or Holy or the Black Materia. And that silence is deafening, because for almost 30 years, this has been the single most debated moment in gaming. In the original, Sephiroth kills Aerith, the most famous death the medium has ever seen. Then the remakes started messing with destiny. Remake introduced the Whispers, ghostly enforcers of fate, and the party shattered them, meaning the story could now go differently. And Rebirth? Rebirth gave us an ending so deliberately blurry that nobody could agree on what they just saw. It showed 2 outcomes at once. One where Aerith is gone, and one where she's smiling and alive. And afterward, only Cloud could still see her, and only Cloud could see a strange scar in the sky. Revelation is the final answer to all of it. This is where we find out if you can actually defy fate. And here's what's driving everyone insane. The director, Hamaguchi, was asked directly, and he said, "I think everyone is worried and concerned about what happened to her fate," and then he refused to confirm whether Aerith even appears in the game at all. Square Enix has also confirmed there is only one definitive ending, no matter what choices you make. So there is no secret save Aerith route. There are theories everywhere that she stays in the live stream, that two universes merge, that Cloud is just imagining her, or that her death is made final and tragic. But theories are all we have. They are keeping the answer locked until launch. And finally, the drama. Because the same director also said something that lit up the timeline. In an interview, Hamaguchi talked about a problem he sees with modern story-driven RPGs. He worries that people just watch the whole thing on a stream, feel satisfied, and never actually buy or play it. He called it a bit of a crisis for the work itself. Now, to be totally fair, he did not bash streamers, and he said he wasn't ragging on streaming in general. He framed it as a creative challenge for developers. But that's not all. He also doubled down on minigames. He said Revelation will have as many minigames as Rebirth, if not more, and that he has a clear policy not to cut them no matter how much feedback he gets. His reasoning was actually pretty interesting. He said if you bend to every single piece of fan feedback, you end up with a game that has no character at all. A lot of fans loved that honesty. A lot of others read it as the director deflecting criticism. Either way, people were definitely talking. So that is Final Fantasy VII Revelation. The end of a 30-year saga, finally on every platform with Vincent and Cid playable, a whole skydiving open world, a returning roster of classic locations, and the one question Square Enix still refuses to answer. It all comes to a close in spring 2027. So tell me where you stand. After everything, does Aerith finally live? Does she stay dead? Or is it something stranger that none of us see coming? Drop your theory in the comments, and if you want every reveal broken down before the rest of the internet catches up, subscribe to Game Signal. Now, new goal everyone. Stay alive until 2027.